Some of the people I dealt with would come up with ingenious and often hilarious ruses in order to stripe you for a few quid. I once bought a Renault 11 off of a plasterer simply because he assured me it had a full tank of petrol, having just filled her up when the head gasket went. On viewing the car, it did indeed have a full tank. The gauge was run up, and if you took the fuel cap off, the fluid could be seen bossing about. The bloke wanted to clear his work kit out of the car before I took over ownership. Fair enough. He nursed the stricken car back to his abode, returning an hour later. I again had a quick squint at the fuel gauge, then signed the papers and paid up the cash. Later on, I came to move the thing out of the way, and it started, then died and wouldn't restart. Plenty of fuel on the gorge, couldn't have run out. However, I could smell petrol. Peering under the car, I noted the remains of a 2HB pencil rammed into a hole that had been hastily drilled in the tank. Great. Well and truly done. One Boxing Day, a group of fellas came banging on our door mid-afternoon. They had a sob story about needing a drive shaft desperately for a VW in order to help an elderly relative get back home for from the festivities. I wasn't going out until evening time, so I figured it was extra few quid off the cost of me Christmas gifts. They had not brought the correct tools with them, and I loaned them a box of Torx bits in order to extract the drive shaft. They were polite, paid for the part, and left after returning my toolbox to me. I didn't think to check it. The following week, needing to strip another drive shaft, I opened my box of Torx bits and only discovered that it had been replaced by a few handfuls of pebbles off the yard's floor. Odd things would turn up in scrap vehicles. A full wedding dress in the back of a Peugeot Expert Garden Services van, bags and bags of dog shit, and fur in a scrap Ford Fiesta Combi that had been used as a sandwich delivery vehicle. I collected a Volvo estate off the side of a dual carriageway once that, when inspected, was loaded with several paratroopers' survival equipment in rucksacks. Our outside lavatory seat was found brand new still in its wrapper in the rear of a scrap van. I used to wrench all the seat squabs up, don some rubber gloves, and salvage lots of coins and jewellery, the best being an 18-carat gold bracelet out of the back of an old Ford Capri. I once found a grappling hook complete with a length of rope in a boot of a 7 Series BMW, not to mention new cameras, GHT air straighteners, and a whole host of silver-plated items found in other cars over the years. A near-complete dinner service, some pieces broken but others okay. It's shoved in the rear footwells in boxes of a dead Ford Sierra, its owners having died and the relatives just throwing all their flat's contents into the car to scrap. One bloke stuffed a mattress inside a Ford Escort after being evicted from his flat. Ringing me to clear the car and then going missing, I just extracted the vile thing and left it with the man's parents. One woman had me collect her VW Polo Mark II, but had left her emergency overnight bag in the boot. Having known her at school, though a few years older than me, and being the recipient of several piss takes and abuse all from her 15-year-old self at the time, I had great delight in ringing to say I would drop her emergency knickers and jeans back when I was passing. She was the colour of a tomato when Big John and I turned up handing her the bag. You just had no idea what was coming next. Summer was drawing to a close. Big John's girlfriend had left for far-flung destinations, so he had a face like a gravedigger most days. The black BMW, which had seen so much fun, was showing signs of head gasket failure, and terminal rust had come to light too. I sold it to an eager lad and his male nurse father as a project. My Ford Transit recovery truck had already been welded back together, its chassis having cracked through. Now there was a core plug leaking badly in the cylinder head, right up against the bulkhead, so totally inaccessible without removing the head. I decided it was time that vehicle went on its way too. My late Uncle Rog had a tired old Ford Escort van that still ran, but he needed it welding to get it through another MOT. When a pack of travellers turned up, looking to buy a few vehicles, I sold them the lorry and the van as a package, loading the one onto the other and delivering them to their campsite. I was paid with no issues after hearing how it was while sitting in their immaculate Buccaneer caravan. Uncle Percy had followed myself and John over to the site to drop me back at the yard, socialising of an evening now only available with the Bedford lorry once again, till I could find another car. Thankfully I did within a short period of time. A Morris Marina coupe, bought from the local paper for the price of its tactics only, as I turned out. Owning this car, coupled with the growing of an ill-advised moustache for a change, I am now convinced led to definite drought in attentions from members of the opposite sex, this seeming to last an achingly long period. Some weeks after the sale of the van and lorry, my uncle called in one Friday afternoon. He took me aside to say his sleep had been disturbed the previous night, when in the early hours he was woken by two coppers banging on his front door. Letting them in, they questioned him at his kitchen table about a smash and grab ram raid just at the south of Birmingham earlier that evening, explaining to him that his old van, which was still registered in his name, currently was residing in the front window of an electrical shop. Someone had used it for a bit of crash and carry. Happily, he managed to convince them it wasn't down to him, keeping me out of it, but by explaining a group of travellers had bought it for spares. No culprits were ever found. Hello there! Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed this one and would like to see more, then please subscribe to my channel. Also have a look at my other playlists. Really is appreciated. All the best. Cheers.